expects Liberty to be the alpha of Conference USA. But we learned quickly last year that Jacksonville State is right there and ready to take on that challenge. Now, obviously, it's a new year, but there are plenty of returning players that we'll talk about today that are going to make this team really fun to watch in 2024. We'll start with an offensive lineman. Obviously, that plays a huge role in a Rich Rodriguez system. Clay Webb is an absolute force. He is someone that has gotten a lot of love from the college football community, and he is one of the best guards in college football. He's going to play a huge role for an offense that wants to run the ball quite a bit, a group that finished third on the ground, and he is going to be a tone setter for what should be a really exciting offense. Now, losing Chris Hardy obviously hurt quite a bit when he hit the transfer portal and ended at Ole Miss. But getting Jrock Swain, one of the best names in college football, back was huge. I mean, a guy like him who can be explosive, obviously replacing Hardy will be difficult. And this is a defense that needs to replace multiple starters, but Swain is a really fun player to watch. 30 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. When you look at what was good about this team, obviously the offense played a role, but this was a defense that was really good against the run. They finished 15th. And overall, as a defense, this feels like it was a really good group. Now, obviously, replacing multiple starters is going to be difficult, but this is a team that should be really fun to watch, a team that is going to be pretty exciting. And it's a matter of getting the other guys up to speed. But having a guy like Swain back is huge. Now, we mentioned that rushing attack, and it's going to be tough to differentiate between who is going to separate themselves because everyone gets a piece of that. Ron Wiggins is going to play a big role, and he's played a big role for a while. 468 yards and 6 touchdowns. He is just one of the many pieces that we're going to talk about today that are going to play a big role in that rushing attack. But he has been proven to be a little bit more consistent than most, and he is going to be that once again for the Gamecocks this year. Now, this team takes a new quarterback over to be the starter in Logan Smothers, but he played a pretty big role last year. Wasn't the starter, obviously, but he is now the starter this year, and he will be the feature player for this offense. 735 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air, 322 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. He is a great fit for what this offense wants to do. And if he can find a way to balance out this attack a little bit more, this offense should take a huge step this year. Back to the defensive side of the ball, this is a group that struggled against the pass, finished 94th, but Fred Perry is back to help make that group better. 75 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 5 passes defended, 1 interception. An experienced player that's going to be really exciting for this team, a player that is very familiar with how to make plays and how to get guys in position. And again, with so many new faces needing to be replaced and needing to be added, Fred Perry is going to play a huge role. One of the most underrated tight ends in college football is Shawn Brown. Because Jacksonville State does not throw the football a ton, a guy like Brown is not going to get a ton of production. Only had 19 catches, but turned that into 294 yards and 5 touchdowns. Has a really good frame for tight end. So you're going to find that throwing the football to him is pretty easy. And Logan Smothers is going to like having that big target downfield. And it's going to be interesting to see how he can beat his numbers from last year. Jacksonville State actually added a transfer portal player from Clemson, and Brandon Spectre could be a big time player for this passing attack. Again, if this passing attack can take a slight step forward, the offense will benefit tremendously. Now, Spectre only had 4 catches last year for Clemson for 25 yards, but he is someone who has the talent to be a big time player. And this is an offense that has options downfield. So it would almost be kind of a waste if they didn't throw the football more because you have guys like Brandon Spectre back, and we'll talk about a couple other guys in a little bit. But having that type of talent means that you have to throw the football more to help your rushing attack even more. Final guy on the defense we'll talk about is Derek Carter. Now, this is someone who wasn't really well known in Conference USA community heading into last year, but that should change. 44 tackles, 8 passes defended. He is someone who made a big impact on this defense. Again, a defense that finished 94th against the pass, so you'd like to see that group get better as a whole. but you have guys like Perry and Carter that can get that process started. Another running back returning is Anoir Lewis, 452 yards and 3 touchdowns. He and Wiggins will be a good, formidable duo in the backfield, joining Logan Smothers and helping that Rich Rodriguez offense. So this is a group that has plenty of talent coming back to run the football. There shouldn't be any concerns about a group that finished third. Yeah, they might take a step back in terms of rushing, but hopefully that means it's because the offense is throwing the ball a little bit more efficiently. So we'll see what happens there, but you should feel pretty good if you're a Gamecocks fan about what you have returning in the backfield. And finally, that other wide receiver we talked about before, Michael Petway, 196 yards and 1 touchdown. You could also see PJ Wells in this spot as well. There are a lot of good options for this passing attack, and I think Logan Smothers is going to like what he has downfield, and maybe that affects what this coaching staff wants to do. Maybe they want to throw the football a little bit more. We will see. That's going to be an interesting group to watch for sure. And it'll be fun to see what this offense can do because this is a defense that might need a little bit of time to get things up to speed. And if they're able to do that quicker than or sooner rather than later, the offense doesn't have to do as much. But as you can see, the offense has plenty of returning talent to get things going right off the bat. And it'll be fun to see how this team competes in Conference USA in 2024.